What is the best assault rifle in Fortnite? This has been a very highly requested video for me to make, even though I have already gone over all of these weapons in previous individual videos, but I think a lot of you like having one video to compare them all, so today we're going to be comparing the 4 assault rifles. I'm not including the scoped AR and thermal scoped AR in this comparison, because those two weapons simply don't offer the up close, medium range, and long range versatility that the other 4 ARs do. They're more suited for being compared to something like a sniper rifle. So the 4 ARs that we're going to be comparing today are the normal assault rifle, also known as the SCAR, the silenced assault rifle, the burst assault rifle, and the heavy assault rifle. For this video, I'll be referencing the highest rarity of each weapon type, but all of the information presented can be translated to the lower variants, because the only difference between the lower variants of the same weapon type are their reload speed, damage, and accuracy. So as you can see from the in-game stats of these weapons, the heavy AR has the highest damage per shot, followed by the normal AR, and then the lowest damage is the burst AR and the silenced AR. In terms of damage drop off for these weapons, it's very simple. All 4 weapons start damage drop off at the same point, and when they stop damage drop off, they all end at 66% of their original damage. Now, damage per shot is important, but only as important as how it compares with the fire rate of that weapon. To compare this, we look at the time to kill of weapons, which takes into consideration the damage and fire rates of these weapons. Right here we have the body shot time to kill of these 4 weapons when facing 100 health opponents. As you can see, the normal AR is the fastest, being able to kill in just 36 hundredths of a second. However, in a game like Fortnite Battle Royale, it's hard to give a true sense of time to kill because you never really know how much health an opponent is going to be. They could be exactly 48 health, which means the heavy gold AR would be the fastest in terms of time to kill, or they could be 33 health, meaning all of the weapons are exactly the same. So while 100 health is a good measurement of typical time to kill, it isn't the end all be all. Finally, let's look at the accuracy of these 4 weapons, which is the final piece to the puzzle in terms of effectiveness. Damage and fire rate are very important, but you have to actually be able to land those shots in order for the weapon to be effective. Right here we have these 4 weapons while strafing and firing in full auto. As you can see, in terms of long-term accuracy, the normal AR and burst are the more accurate weapons, followed by the heavy AR and then the silenced AR, which is the worst. Now that is simply for long-term firing these weapons, but what about the short term? What about first shot accuracy? Here is a comparison between these 4 weapons when sprinting at full speed and then stopping to get first accuracy as fast as possible. The heavy AR absolutely dominates this one, followed by the silenced AR and very shortly after the normal AR, and arriving in dead last is the burst assault rifle. Really quick, let me go ahead and jump in here and explain something to all of you, because while I was editing, I noticed this could be a little bit confusing. What you're seeing right here is measured in frames. So the heavy takes 33 frames, the normal AR takes 45 frames, and this is 45 out of a possible 60 frames. So while the burst is still extremely slow, it does only take 62 frames for it to get first shot accuracy, which means that it isn't even twice as long as the heavy AR. So I just wanted to explain that real quick so that you guys don't think that the burst is even worse than it actually is, because it is already pretty bad. But anyway, on to the rest of the video. Those 2 accuracy comparisons that we just went over can tell you a lot about these 4 weapons. For instance, the heavy AR is amazing at having low accuracy while traversing the land, which means that if you want to take a quick shot, you can do so and your accuracy will be fairly decent, even if you don't want to wait for first shot accuracy. While accurate initially, the heavy AR can, however, get out of control when firing long term. The normal AR, in my opinion, is the best in terms of being decent at both. It can get first shot accuracy fairly quickly, even though its spread is fairly large while running around, and then its long-term accuracy is one of the best as well. So now that we've gone over all of the facts in the video, which is the best assault rifle? For me, it comes down to 2 ARs. The normal AR, also known as the SCAR, and the heavy AR. The burst assault rifle, in my opinion, is currently the worst option. The idea of the burst is great, but with Bloom in the game, it's so difficult for this gun to be balanced. When using first shot accuracy, only the first bullet of the first burst is able to benefit from it. Following that initial burst where only the first bullet is accurate and the other two can kind of go wherever you want, you then have a very long waiting period before you can actually fire that weapon again. As shown here, it takes the burst assault rifle more than twice as long for it to regain first shot accuracy as well compared to the other 4 weapons. So for me, the burst just isn't an ideal option. But what about the Silent Scar? The Silent Scar was very competitive in many categories, even winning in some of them, such as how fast it can consecutively get first shot accuracy. So why do I not consider it a top 2 weapon? Well, that is because its purpose is very similar to that of the heavy ARs. It doesn't have very good long-term firing accuracy, such as the heavy AR, which means that it is meant to be used in short bursts. In those scenarios, the heavy AR, in my opinion, is more dominant due to the higher damage per shot. When facing good opponents, they will typically react and build immediately after being shot. So if you only have one shot to do as much damage as possible to an unsuspecting enemy, then you want something like the heavy assault rifle. However, I will say there is a playstyle that can benefit from using the Silent Scar over the heavy AR, and that is a playstyle that is extremely passive, yet at the same time aggressive. I'm talking about a playstyle where you're constantly hiding, but also constantly taking shots to try and steal kills. This playstyle would be best suited in a playlist like Squads, where you are trying to pick off players from 2 different teams that are currently engaging each other. In this scenario, you are greatly benefiting from the silence aspect of the silenced AR, which allows people to only hear bullets up to 50 meters, whereas non-silenced weapons can be heard all the way up to 175 meters. This means that very few opponents around you will hear you and go looking for you, while the people you are shooting at also aren't going to look for you because they're too busy engaging each other. So while this can be a very useful tactic, I don't think it's something that most of you are going to utilize, but that is up for you to decide for yourself. Finally, we come to what I consider the top 2 assault rifles, the normal AR and the heavy AR. I've already compared these 2 weapons head to head in a video before, and I'm going to say what I said then in that video. It depends on your playstyle, and it comes down really to one simple question. Do you shoot other players first more often than they shoot you first? If the answer is yes and you are the aggressor in most of your engagements, then the heavy AR is probably going to be the better option for you. If the answer is no and other people often shoot you first, then the Scar is probably the better option due to its faster fire rate and faster time to kill. On my heavy AR versus Scar comparison video, I saw a comment that said that I should compare the heavy AR to the Silent Scar simply because I always choose the normal Scar over every other weapon, and that's something I want to address in this video. Yes, I choose the Scar over other weapons, but that's because it's the best for me. And that's something that I try to state very clearly in my videos. The first, at the beginning of the video, I'll present all of the information, all of the factual information, and then at the end, I'll give my personal breakdown, analysis, and opinion. As I've said before, I have bad eyesight, and in turn that means that a weapon with a faster fire rate and better long-term accuracy is going to be the better choice for me. But I will freely admit that for most people, the heavy AR is more than likely the better option, especially with the recent changes to shotguns. With pump shotguns now being able to do much higher damage, combining it with something like the heavy AR can be a deadly combination. So what is the best AR in Fortnite? Well, ultimately that's up for you to decide, and more importantly, it's up for you to analyze your own personal playstyle and then take the information I gave you and apply it to yourself. For me, it's the Scar, but for the rest of you, it could be any one of the 4 weapons, even the burst AR. But anyway, that is all that I have for this video. I hope that it was informative. If you're new here and like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. If you'd like to support me when spending V-Bucks, you can do so by using my code FLAMMINATOR in the item shop. Thank you to all of you who made it to this point in the video. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in my next video.